Hello, hello, hello. So, this week, yeah, so this week I've been working on basically updating Malison's battle animation system. And yeah, it's been some work. I'm going to show a little bit of what I'm working on, but just show because there's really not a lot to talk about here. It's very tedious stuff. I might have shown this image before. This is a sketch of what I was going for at first. I've been working on a little bit of like a back end menu system to help to help make some stuff work a little bit better when I'm playtesting, and also to help the playtesters of the game. Um, So most of this week I was just really working on implementing sort of basic menu stuff, interactable menus. Um, and on Friday I was working on another sort of on animation stuff. But yeah, like I said last week, it's gonna be pretty. The updates this week are gonna be pretty slow. I'm still fairly busy um, on some freelance work this month. All right, let's see. It's taking a while to compile here. So I'll just quickly show the two different things. Okay, so let's go with the animation. So this is what I was working on here for most of this week. Just basically like a menu with different like buttons, and then having it that you can change the text on the buttons. And it's not fully working yet, but this is what I've been working on here. Let's see that. And the other side, on the other hand, I've been working on the actual animations thing. At first, I was going to go for that menu for the animation system. Now I'm kind of thinking I should sort of use a mix of Game Maker's sequences and some other stuff to do animations. Alright, so this was on King Street. There you go. Look at this angry boy up there. See this guy? So I've been testing a new animation system here, and I've been testing it on the flame breath attack, and there you go. So I'm just trying to test ways to have sort of schedule different effects. Like here, this like this tiled texture. Because right now the way the animation system works is very rigid. It tends to be that every spell just has an animated sprite that plays on top of the enemy, and then that deals damage. Now I'm trying to make it that I can just use all sorts of different assets for it, like, you know, a tiling texture, a flash, a shake, a sound effect playing here or there. So, and, you know, this is kind of why I was building this menu here, so that, you know, the idea at first was to have a menu like this where you actually schedule things like a flash, a glow, wait for an amount of time, play a sound effect, throw a projectile, right? So I was going with this. Something you would do in the backhand, so you could test it as you work on it. But now I'm not actually sure if I want to do this for the animations, and I'm thinking I should maybe stick to more of a programming approach instead of a backhand sort of like custom script language. I'm still figuring it out. I'm trying to find the best solution. The solution that has, you know, the least amount of setup to get it working, and on the other hand, where making a lot of different animations is also as little work as possible, because I have a lot of animations to do for the game's spells. And yeah, so finding a good system for it is going to be very important in the long run, because whatever system I make for this is something I'll need to use to make, you know, like 100 spells basically. So yeah, it needs to be a system that can grow and that can be used for a lot of things. So I'm still figuring this out. I'm kind of just trying different things. Yes, this is a UI that I mocked up a while ago for an in-game editor. And so yeah, so that's basically what I worked on last week. I was actually working on implementing this UI system itself, not the actual animations version of it, just the basic UI, having windows, buttons, even a scroll bar. Although right now it's not working in the current version here. I was showing it earlier. It's not fully working here, but yeah, there's buttons, there's text boxes, and some text boxes can only have numbers in them. Some can have text. You can tie the text box to something else. This here is a list box, so all of these are just a single. This is just like one single box that has a bunch of different things you can choose. Yeah, you have buttons. Also, this is loading those animation names from an external file. So yeah, I'm working on this. Now, if I don't end up actually going for that menu system for the animations, I'm probably still going to be using that menu system for a menu I want to build that's going to let players customize the party. So this is going to be something for playtesters, so that playtesters can actually build a party using a menu like this when they test. So they can play, like, they can go, okay, war to chapter 2, and give me this and this and this character at this or that level, give me these items, you know, so I want to make a backend that just makes it easier to playtest the game overall. And this is going to be useful for that. But yeah, that's it. That was the work for this week. Also, on the other end, there's also the what I did on Monday. So what I did last Monday, I was working on the Fungus cavern. There you go. This is the Fungus cavern monsters that I made. So I made some mushroom monsters. I made some sort of mollusk jellyfish themed monsters. And I made some fungus people. And I made some tiles. I also made more tiles in this. I made some giant mushrooms too. It turns out I failed to lock down the Fungus cavern last week. I just ended up spending too much time making the monsters. I was having too much fun, both making the monsters and also making the mushrooms and making it that I can build mushrooms with tiles. That ended up taking a lot of experimentation. Um, I really like the result, but I don't actually have designed levels yet. So yeah, I'm gonna need to spend the next weekend, the next Monday here coming up, actually designing the levels. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm spending 2 days to lock down the Fungus Cave instead of one. But again, I didn't want to keep working until like the wee hours of the morning to get it done. That kind of ruins you know, the whole point of this is that I don't overwork myself on it. So I prefer just cutting it off early and just moving it to the next week. Um, Even if it kind of breaks the rules that I set up for this, but you know. All right, so yeah, so what's coming up next week is next week I'm gonna keep working on the animation stuff, so more the animation updates than the menu UI stuff. So I'm gonna be trying to again implement more different sort of more systems. Like I want to make something to make like a fire breath attack. Um, I want to update how the attacks themselves work. Because right now in the game, how the attacks work right now in the game is if you use a spell that targets more than one enemy or that hits an enemy more than once, it actually casts multiple spells. And each of the separate spells run their full animation on the different targets and then run their own damage code and everything. Which is making it very difficult to make certain kinds of spells that are more meant to be like, that are meant to have more complicated logic. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rework a little bit how attacks are organized in the game, so that when you cast a spell that has more than one target, instead of the spell going off multiple times, once for each target, it's going to go off once and is going to have a list of targets. And the animations are going to be able to adapt to the number of targets that they have. So yes, that's a change I want to do, and that's going to be next week. Yeah, and for the Tartarus Below stuff for Monday, it's going to be working on finishing the mushroom cave, the fungus caverns. But yeah, that's it. That's the update. So I'm going to go on a little walk, and when I'm back at 9, I will resume my Kingsfield game. I've been playing Kingsfield 3. It's been interesting. It's been very mysterious. Last week I couldn't play it that much because I spent like a few hours making a little animated pars, an animated dancing pars. So that took a lot of the time there. But yes, so yes, I'll be resuming my Kingsfield game, so that should be fun. So tune in about 20 minutes, and I will resume this. All right, but yeah, thank you all for watching, and yeah, see you in 20 minutes.